Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky. This is Lucky Lad TV. I'm your host of this video, and it's time for us to go over our OU and UU picks for the Crimson City Battle League. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be uploading all of the battles. As you saw in yesterday's video, I'm now going to be in 3 leagues. This one was really kind of a spur-of-the-moment type thing. I was trolling around the Crimson City Discord, and he was talking about how he wants to start a battle league. And I figured, what the hell, I'll put my hat in, see if I get picked. I did, so now I'm in 3 leagues. The OBC, however, like I said, I'm doing much more to work on administration for that league than I am focusing on actual team building and stuff like that. In the UPC, which is Tyler's league, I'll be doing a little bit of both. And in this league, I'm strictly going to be battling. I'm just there for fun. I'm not going to take it too seriously. I'm going to try and have as much fun as I can with it. It is a showdown league as well, so it'll be a lot less time-consuming because I don't have to worry about genning, checking for legality and stuff like that, and then setting aside a time where we both have Wi-Fi, we can both battle, and I have to wait for them to gen too. It's just a much faster thing. But it's UCL rules for the most part. I'll go over any specific rules if it comes up. However, for the first 6 Pokemon that I drafted, nothing really comes to mind that I need to go over. But I'm going to go over them in the order that I got them and why I chose what I chose. I think I've got a pretty good handle on the whole draft league thing. I'm not going to say I'm the best at it. I'm certainly not the worst at it. But I think I have a lot of good insight, a lot of good analytical taste when it comes to this format. So I'm going to go over this draft. Like I said, the UPC draft is the best draft I have ever made. Nothing from that draft is probably going to change. From this draft, nothing's going to change either, just because, like I said, this league I'm not taking super seriously. I'm going to try and win, obviously, and I'm going to plan to the best of my abilities, but I'm not going to, go crazy or anything like that. So, the first Mon that I was surprised I was able to pick it because I was 9th in order. I grabbed Mega Lopunny because Mega Lopunny is a Pokemon I don't really get to use that often. I really don't. And the reason for that is it's kind of hard to build a team around it because it does so much by itself. It has so much potential, especially in this format. It's one of the best revenge killers in the game. The problem is it's kind of outclassed in standard OU play because there are other Pokemon that just wall it that are almost always there. Obviously, it has ice coverage for stuff like Landorus and Garchomp, and it can run Fire Punch for a Ferrothorn, but there's no reason for that when High Jump Kick does effectively the same. Fire Punch does do more, but I'm pretty sure they're both guaranteed one-hit kills, or close to it. But, in standard OU, you have things that just wall Mega Lopunny, and you have a lot of things that do it. Amoonguss is there now, that walls Mega Lopunny. Clefable pretty much walls Mega Lopunny. Then you have stuff like, well, Gengar doesn't count, but Hippo doesn't care about Mega Lopunny. You have Klefki, which is such a huge threat to it because I can paralyze it. You have the Lottie twins, which, while they do not outspeed, they can easily one-shot Mega Lopunny. You have Intimidate Spam, you have Mew, you have Mega Pinsir, which will easily take this thing out with an Aerolate boosted attack. There's just so many different options. You have Skarmory, you have Slowbro, you have Talonflame, which easily revenge kills this. You have Venusaur, or Mega Venusaur rather, you have Zapdos. You just have a lot of stuff that just doesn't care about Mega Lopunny. It completely just shrugs it off. But in this format, it's different because you can very easily cater Mega Lopunny to your opponent's team. However, the biggest problem for Mega Lopunny is Talonflame. So I was debating between taking Talonflame or taking what is probably the best Talonflame counter, or check rather, in the game, and I decided to go with the latter and grab Garchomp. Because Garchomp is another Pokemon that I almost never use because of that glaring ice weakness. Which, for me personally, is just something that I prefer to avoid. I prefer to avoid double weaknesses. You'll see in this draft, I don't really care about that. I want to have a lot of fun with this draft. Because it won't be taken as competitively seriously as the other leagues that I'm in. So I grabbed Garchomp, Game Chomp our Garchomp. It has really cool coverage. It has a lot of cool setup potential. It's got a lot going for it. It's a great Pokemon. I just don't typically use it myself because of that ice weakness. And once I had Garchomp, I decided to go with an old favorite of mine, which is, of course, Dragmag, which is Magnezone or Magneton, depending on what tier you're in, with a Dragon-type Pokemon, because the two biggest checks to Dragon-type Pokemon are Steel and Fairies. And with the Magnet Pull ability, we beat those because Steel is super effective against Fairy, and then of course we have, just Magnet Pull to trap Steel types, and then we can beat them down with Hidden Power. This is especially good in this scenario because I can pick whether I want Fire, Fighting, or Ground for my Hidden Power depending on what my opponent has. For example, if he has Ferrothorn, Hidden Power Fire. If he has Probopass, Hidden Power Fighting or Ground would work. So there's different scenarios where you want to use different things. There's really only one Fairy type that can, actually tank hits from Magnezone, and that is Florges because of its ridiculous special defense. So, I took Florges. I don't really like Florges that much, just because it's a very passive Pokemon unless you're running Calm Mind. But it has decent coverage, it's a good Cleric, it's a good Wish Passer, which was important to have. And other than that, it's just... it's the only Fairy type that can take hit from Magnezone, so I figured I'll just take it. Then it was, there were a lot of picks between Florges and my next one, and I actually decided to grab Celebi. Now, I don't like the double bug weakness because U-turn is such an easy move to put on a Pokemon, and a lot of things learn it. Hidden Power Bug is also a thing. However, Celebi gives me a really good check to ground types, whether they're physical or special, which is something that Garchomp can't really do. Garchomp can't take on specially offensive ground types. The other problem with my team is that we had a lot of issues with something like Mamoswine, which can kind of just run through everything. And then Pokemon like the Lotties, those cause an issue. We had some things that I wanted to patch up, so I grabbed Celebi because it really just takes care of them. It doesn't necessarily, destroy them offensively, but it very easily takes them on, and we have excellent recovery in the form of Recover, which is not weather dependent, which is good. It's also a good Stealth Rock setter, and it is a Baton Passer, which is one of the things that I was very interested in. It has access to both Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, and Calm Mind as potential Baton Pass moves, as well as, Leech Seed for wearing down my opponent, and some other interesting stuff that may come into play, but it might not. But my last UU pick, and this is something that I very, very heavily debated grabbing in the PMC. I ended up grabbing Kyurem instead, which I think in the end was a better decision. However, I've always wanted to have this thing in the League format and use it, so I grabbed Snapshot our Cloyster. Now, Cloyster is shitty. Except for one aspect, which is Shell Smash. Other than that, Cloyster is just, it has good physical bulk, but it has no reliable recovery. Its only form of recovery being rest, or leftovers. However, it sets up spikes and toxic spikes, it rapid spins as well, but of course that big button, Shell Smash. Well, you guys can't see it right now, but Shell Smash, right there. Shell Smash doubles Cloyster's speed, special attack, and attack. Which means that its base speed, well, not its base speed, its speed maxes out at 514. Which is, it outspeeds the entire metagame. Everything gets outsped. I believe it actually outspeeds Deoxys' speed. I'm not 100% sure, but obviously that's not an option in this league because this is, Smogon tiering, but this thing is a huge threat. Huge threat. Being able to... The reason it's so dangerous is because of skill link, which means that moves like Spike Cannon, Icicle Spear, Rock Blast, those hit 5 times every single time. Which means that we don't care about Focus Sash, we don't care about Sturdy, we don't care about anything. Anything that, unless you resist Icicle Spear, at +2, it is taking you down. Or unless you have some crazy, ridiculous bulk. And the other thing is that you can easily run Cloyster as a mixed attacker because it has access to a lot of good special moves. It has Signal Beam Surf, it has Ice Beam, which is interesting. It has Hidden Power, of course, and then, of course, it has a few more interesting moves that aren't necessarily as good, but could definitely come in handy. Never mind, it doesn't, but Signal Beam could be interesting, depending on what or who we're up against, but the ability to either be a hazard setter, a hazard remover, or a setup sweeper is something that I find really interesting, and something that I definitely look forward to having on the team. Because, like I said, Cloyster is a Pokemon that I've always wanted to use, never really had the opportunity to do so, but I will this time. But that's going to be it for this. Tomorrow you will see my RU and NU picks. But that's going to be it for now. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. It's very much greatly appreciated. But with that, I'm going to get about. Best luck out there. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.